What's up, guys, and welcome back to another Once a Nomad, Always a Nomad. As you can see, I'm here with my buddy Alex. Alex, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Alex. Um, Born and raised in San Diego. Was with Nomads for like 7 years, and yeah, just happy to be here today.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and it's been a while. It's been a while since we talked, so I think it's gonna be nice, real cool to catch up and get to know your story.
Definitely, yeah, man. It's
All
been
right.
about a year.
So, what did you say? Sorry.
So it's been about a year since I last saw you, right?
Yeah, just about almost
Yeah.
almost a year to the day. Actually, I think it was a year to the day. I think our going away party was about the 27th or the 28th or something like that. So pretty
Sounds
much,
about right.
yeah. It's crazy. Um, all right, yeah. So just take me back to the beginning for you. Like, where did it all start? Just when did you start playing soccer?
Gotcha. So yeah, way back in the very beginning, I when I was about 4 years old, I was playing just like AYSL. I did that for like 2 or 3 years, I want to say, and then starting under eight, I went to Crusaders. Um, for some reason back then we had like two teams for the same age group. I was playing on like the B team for some reason. Not sure why. um, but at some point, like whenever we would play like Nomads or whatever, your dad actually Manny, for those who don't know, basically recruited me low key because he obviously remembered like my mom and my brother. So
Yeah.
he was always trying to get me to like come over to the Nomads and lead Crusaders, and eventually I did, starting like at under 11 from 2002 onwards. So from like 2002 to 2009, basically I was on Nomads. I had Manny for 3 years, which was amazing. I loved your dad as my coach. I had another coach for like 1 year. I forget his name. He was alright. He was only with the club for like that 1 year too. Like they hired him and then he left. Like
Yeah.
he bounced quick. And then I had David for 2 years, which was fun. And then I only had Derek for like my last year, or like a year and a half, I want to say, leading to my last year. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I pretty much quit soccer after Nomads to pursue music and just go to school, among other things.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, like you said, my dad kind of, he kind of recruited you, try to bring you over. Is that kind of, I mean, what made you choose Nomads more than like staying with Crusaders or going to a different club in the area?
That's a good question. Well, obviously, a lot of it had to do with me being on like the B team or whatever. I didn't know this back then, but I was considered like the best person on the team at
Yeah.
the time. Me being like my unconfident self, like I had no clue. But and then the coach I had on Crusaders too, he wasn't a very good coach. I'm sorry. Like he was the kind of coach who would micromanage like every little single thing. Like during the games, he was telling us like, "Yo, pass here, go there," and not letting us just like do our own thing and play.
Yeah.
So I think my parents just kind of realized how damaging that was, not just for me, but just in general as a coaching style. So they're like, "Yeah, we gotta we gotta move him somewhere else."
Yeah.
And I actually tried out for the Crusaders A team first, or like the first team, and I didn't make it. Like I just didn't have the confidence at all. And yeah, Manny took a chance on me and let me play for them. And it's funny too, because that same coach from Crusaders, like I still kind of like keep in touch with him or whatever on Facebook, and he hit me up like years later. I'm gonna say like maybe 6-7 years ago. He's like, "Man, yeah, I kick myself every time for letting you just go to Nomads. Like, why didn't I just take you on Crusaders back then?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know, man." But yeah, that's kind of how it happened.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of a similar situation. It's like we have a lot of guys who played for different clubs when they were younger and they played against Nomads and they're like, wow, I want to be on that team kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So
Especially back then too.
yeah, back then I think we had a bunch of loaded teams. Starting at, I would say, even like the team younger than me, the team below me, all the way through like our 19s at the time, and we were loaded with talent in all those teams. I think we pretty much won like everything as like a whole group in that time.
Yeah. I do want to add on to that too, as far as kind of like why I came over. I think Nomads back then, especially, was seen as like there was only so much opportunity. I want to say back then. It's probably more now, but
Yeah.
it was like either Nomads or surf if you really wanted to be like going to college, playing soccer, and make it professionally. Like,
Yeah.
you had to be on like one of those two. I feel like back then.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah, nobody else was like super developed or had like it was either Nomads or Surf who kind of had the best coaches in the area, and I mean the guys who would give you a better chance to move on if that was your end goal.
Exactly.
Yeah, but obviously we had the better coaches, we had the better groups, so
Oh yeah, most definitely.
yeah, surf is nothing compared to us, you know.
They just had the money.
Yeah,
that was it,
exactly. They had the money and we had the culture.
basically.
Yeah. So I mean, coming back to like the beginning, like if you remember, what was it like when you first came over to Nomads? Like, what was that feeling for you when you first joined?
Oh, when I first joined, it was different. All of a sudden, I was surrounded by a bunch of people who were like amazing,
Yeah.
better than me. Like, it was definitely a humbling experience for sure. And I remember back then too, our team was sick. Like under 11, like when we were kids.
Yeah, you guys were nasty.
Yeah, I remember like we were ranked number one in the nation for a while.
I think
Like
for
the
almost 2
first,
years. I think it
yeah,
was for
something like
like
that.
almost 2 whole years. It was like just winning everything. That's why I say you guys won pretty much everything. Obviously, like you said, my dad was your guys' coach. I was like at all the games, and I was like, I think I was just 1 year below you. I was the team right below you. So.
Yeah, because I think David was coaching you guys back then, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I remember. So,
That
yeah,
was
when I
good
first got there,
time.
we were the culture was just way different than what I was used to. Like
Mhm.
actually winning, and yeah, so it was definitely worth coming over. I'll say that for sure. And I got to develop really quickly after that, and you know, things progressed as they should.
Yeah, I mean, I think that also, I like that answer a lot, and I think it kind of smooths over into the next question, which is like, as far as that was when you first joined, but as far as your 7 years, like you said, 2002 to 2009, like how was that whole duration? Like how was that experience of that entire duration for you?
And it was amazing, man. I'll never forget it. Because of, I guess, a couple things really. The camaraderie, I guess, just being with the team, going to a bunch of different places around the country and playing and being together. Losing, I just remember losing to Dan in FIFA every time we went to like hang out in the hotel. I don't know why he was so good at that thing. I don't get it. Or it's just messing around in general, like outside of the games. Like I'll never forget that experience. That's something I always like take with me and cherish. Um, and then the other thing too is just the opportunity. Like I said, just actually being able to travel and play all around the country, whether it's in Florida, Las Vegas, North
Yeah.
Carolina, Washington, Oregon, or even like we were under 14 and 15. We went to England and played there, and then that tournament in Northern Islands, Milk Cup or whatever.
Milk Cup. Yep, Milk Cup.
Yeah, that was so
Yeah,
tight.
I remember that one, like giving autographs after the trainings and the games and stuff like that, little kids, and you're like 15 years old. Like, I wait, what? Like,
Yeah.
I play a game like this back home. Like, my parents barely give me a high five, but these kids are out here asking me for autographs and stuff like that. So,
Right.
that was a fun experience.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I mean, I remember, like we said, your guys' team was just different. You know what I mean? I mean, as you know, like you guys had EJ in goal, and I mean, he's playing for DC United now. I think he was just he was just a level above of like any other goalie in the area, maybe even in the country. Obviously, you know why he got selected from the national team for those years, but just
Yeah.
just thinking back to your team, like it was like I said, it was the team above me. So I think at one point my dad was coaching both our teams at the same time, And so we would train together sometimes. And I think it definitely made our team a lot better to train with you guys, because you don't want to just keep getting your ass kicked every practice when you're scrimmaging against your guys' team, you know what I mean? So it made us jump up a level and try to and become better within ourselves, because we knew, okay, we want to stop getting beat like 6-7-0 every time we scrimmage these guys. Yeah, so that, I mean, I think, yeah, that's great. Like you said, you had a great experience. 7 years is a long time to be with one club. A lot of kids, I think, nowadays just kind of bounce around, try to see what's best for them, when clearly kind of back in that time, Nomads was kind of the best for everybody. So as far as, we talked about the duration now, what would you say personally was your biggest accomplishment as a Nomad?
Biggest accomplishment as a Nomad. That's hard. I didn't really measure like the accomplishments so much, but yeah, I don't know. Probably like my last year when I actually got that college scholarship. Someone actually noticed me playing and like wanted to give me a full ride. Just the fact that I achieved that my last year was pretty big for me, especially with the year I was having. So that was probably the biggest like individual accomplishment I had. Yeah, I'm gonna say that was it for me for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I think you had a great season that year. And it was like finally coming to a point where people were like, oh dang, like he's good. He's very good. Like I think they kind of slept on you for a couple of years. And I think you definitely, I mean, obviously, to us at Nomads, we had seen how good of a player you were when you were 10 years old. That's why we were trying to bring you over, you know what I mean? And I think it's tough sometimes for good players when they're playing with other good players, because I think sometimes that gets hidden. You know what I mean? When you have guys like Denny Delgado and Eli and EJ, and you know what I mean? It's saying it's like not that it's like you're any less talented than them. Like you're up at their level. It's just they somehow get seen and some people get hidden. You know what I mean? And obviously you played left back, I think, right?
Left back or center back, yeah.
Yeah. So you're a little hidden in the back there. You know, I mean, we got Denny Delgado scoring goals and Freddie and Victor and all those guys. So,
right.
But yeah, man, I mean, like that is definitely a great achievement to finally say, you know what, somebody saw me and they want me to come play for them. Like, which it's kind of if you take it back to the beginning when you came to Nomads, it's kind of a similar situation. You know what I mean? Somebody saw you, they said, I would like him to be on my team. He's a great player. Let's bring him here. So yeah, I love that answer, man. I think that's a great answer. Definitely personally, I mean, I can imagine it was a great feeling.
Definitely. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna jump into the next question, which is your favorite memory with the club. But one thing I've been doing on these episodes first is I will say my favorite memory with the person that I'm interviewing. Just because most of the guys that I'm interviewing on this segment, I've spent a good amount of time just because I literally grew up in the club and I played and everything. So I would say for me, obviously, we weren't on the same team, but definitely like off the field, me and you built a great friendship. I remember I always tell everybody I used to go to his house and we used to play Tekken and listen to Eminem like all the time, bro. We were just jamming out. Like we built such a good friendship from a young age that is like clearly carried over to where we're at now. And I mean, like even to the point where we played Sunday League together for like 2.5 years, like, and we had a sick team. We probably had the best Sunday League team of all time. I'm just gonna throw that out there, but
I feel it. I want to do that again.
I know. I would love to do it. Maybe in the future if I move back to San Diego in a few years. I mean, who knows? You might be gone, so.
True. Let me know though.
Yeah, exactly. Right. might be a thing to have you stay. But yeah, I mean, like I said, you and I have built just a great friendship over the years, and to be able to stay in contact and just keep linking up is great, man. It's the fact that we can sit down now and have this conversation. You know what I mean? I think that's something that stays with me forever.
Definitely. Actually, that's funny when you. I think one of my favorite memories of you when we were driving up to like a tournament, whatever. It's like me, you, and my mom.
Yeah.
I swear to God, you listen to the same Eminem song
The
the
whole
entire
way.
ride.
Yeah.
I think it was a real Slim Shady, like
Probably.
the entire
Probably.
car ride.
You can ask anybody around me. I probably do the same thing still. I listen to about the same 3 songs every single day. Every time I go on a little drive, just in repeat. You know, just makes songs that make you feel good. I don't know if the real Slim Shady was my mood at the time, but yeah,
Good song,
yeah. But yeah, I mean, so as far as your favorite memory as a nomad, what would you say that is?
Oof. A few of them. I would say probably the time we went to Ireland and England for sure, and being able to actually experience the competition out there. I mean, they whooped our ass. I don't even know if I curse on here, but they whooped us. There was one team we stayed like kind of like I think the first team we played during the Milk Cup in Ireland. I think they beat us like 4-3, but it was such like a great game. I remember having a really fun game,
Yeah,
and just being able to experience that and play with people who were like from Europe or England or
yeah.
wherever. It was dope. I'll never forget that. And just being with the team together at that time and the shenanigans that we got into when we were 14, 15. So.
Yeah, I always loved going on trips with you guys. Those are fun times. Like you said, just teenagers doing teenage things. Long-lasting memories.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think obviously like that's kind of like a trip of a lifetime kind of situation when you're that young, you know what I mean, and you go play against guys who are at the next level, you know what I mean. You go into England and you're playing against teams who are like Premier League academy teams, you know what I mean, and you're just like, it kind of shows you, dang, like, and you know, like you said, you keep up with a couple teams and you're like, well, I could do this, like I could play at this level, right. You know what I mean? So at that young age,
like,
yeah,
I could beat them. I could beat them. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, you could lose 6-0, but you're like, hey, we were in it for 10, 15 minutes.
Right.
Oh man. All right. Yeah, I mean, I know. I've seen there's a picture of you on Derek's Facebook where he has his arm around you, and I think you guys are like maybe 11, like you said, 10, 11 years old. And it might have been the first year that you came. You know, we had those old Adidas jerseys with the big block red numbers, blue shorts, blue socks. Those are the days. But yeah, I mean, if you remember any, you know, what would you say is your favorite memory of Derek?
Dang. Well, I kind of have to tell like a story, I guess, behind it to fully explain it.
Go ahead.
There's like there's stuff that goes into it, I'm gonna say. So like my last year there, it's kind of where they combined like our team and like Chewy and Beto's team. That's like one for like the new like, or it's not new now, but the developmental academy or whatever. And back then, I was not starting at that time. Like, I wasn't like his favorite player at the moment, I guess. I just remember like not being like devastated, just being like, so I remember like the summer before, I was like training every day, like trying to get ready. And like the first 5 games, I didn't even play at all, dude. My confidence was just like super low. But like throughout that year, and I remember just being stressed out, like, damn, it's my last year. Like I haven't got like a scholarship to play anywhere yet. And I was just like super just like anxious and had like no confidence. But so it took me like a long time to get back into their experience. Just like slowly but surely. So like midway, I want to say through the year, I like worked my way back into the starting 11 and was just starting from then on out.
Yeah.
And then, and I think just the way I changed my opinion or his opinion of me in that time span would be like the greatest accomplishment, one of the greatest accomplishments for me. to the point where like the year after, when I was like starting off at college, and I like came to one of the games to watch, he was like trying to get me to come back.
Yeah.
Like, hey, really? Like, I'm touched, you know? So it kind of taught me too, like, no matter like how much you work sometimes or how talented you think you are, or whatever, like you'll still come up against adversity. You're still gonna have those moments where it's just not gonna all work out, even though you know you're trying harder than most other people.
Yeah.
It taught me like one of the biggest lessons of my life. Like seriously, like
Yeah.
playing for him and having to like really work harder to get his approval and work back into the starting 11. So I'll never forget that for sure. That was I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah, and I mean, that's definitely something that a lot of the guys on here touch on, is that Derek makes you very adaptable. When you like, if you don't have that mindset to be able to adapt, he's gonna force it upon you, because it's very hard to change his mind. It's very hard to change his mind. He's got something on his mind and he's set, and it's like, all right, that's it. Like, so like you said, just being able to work as hard as you did and getting him to be like, oh, you know what? Like, let me give him a chance.
Yeah.
That is a pretty big accomplishment.
You know what I'm saying, man.
Yeah, definitely.
He's a hard coach for sure. Yeah. He'll get into you, but then Derek, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, they say like he's 9 coaches in one person. You know, he'll give you the hard, he'll challenge you, he'll make you think, he'll be nice to you, and then 2 minutes later he'll be screaming your head off, and you're just like, what is happening?
I remember he got so mad at me one time. He like kicked over the water cooler. Like, yeah. I didn't think I was even playing that bad.
I know, right? Like, I'm having a good game, and he's
oh man.
Oh my goodness.
He's tough, but he definitely knows his stuff, and I respect him a lot.
Yeah.
He taught me a lot of stuff. I mean, your dad too, and David. So.
Yeah, and that's what I said. I think looking back, like at the time, you know, when you were there, I think we definitely had the best group of coaches in San Diego. So I think that's why we attracted so much talent to our teams in that time period.
Definitely, I agree.
Yeah. All right. So last question. This is a pretty. I mean, it's a pretty important one to most people, I think, especially to me. And you know, when Derek watches these videos, he loves these things. So, what does Nomads mean to you?
Nomads. Well, for me, it just represented like how I think a soccer club should be, you know, run, the style of play that I like ingrained in myself, and how to conduct myself as a player. I think it laid the groundwork for me as far as how I view like soccer, and how I view the game tactically, because no other team would play like us, like a pass first kind of like, everybody was just kicking the ball to their best player down the field and hoping they just let one in.
Yeah, exactly.
Versus us, I think Nomads was more so worried about our development versus trying to win, and I think that was the key, definitely for me.
Yeah, because development breeds winning.
Yeah,
your players
actually care about you being a better player, better person.
Exactly.
So,
because if your players are just consistently getting better, obviously the results come with that. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly, and it shows.
Exactly.
You got mad pro players just for my team, or like any team, you name it. You know, so.
Yeah, it's like, it's to think like there's guys from your team, from my team, you know, from the teams above us that are still playing. You know what I mean? They're still playing in the pros, and they're playing well. That's the thing, is because like I said earlier, they know how to adapt to every coach. They know how to adapt to every style of play, every situation. It's not necessarily that there's nothing they can't do, but they have the ability to do so many things that it helps them prolong their careers.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
All right, man. This was great. I just want to say thank you so much, you know, for taking the time out of your day to sit down and talk with me about this. You know, I think we've been trying to plan this for a couple of weeks, so definitely appreciate you coming on here, man.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. No, I love being on here. Thanks for having me, dude.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, you know, we Alex is a Man United, not a Man United. Alex is an Arsenal fan, but Alex is a Nomads legend. We'll just leave it at that. You know, gave a lot to the club. You know, what I mean, gave a lot to the club. And like I said, just one of my best friends. Just the times we spent together younger, and even I mean, I don't think I saw you for years, and then we just kind of linked back up and started playing Sunday League. So just felt like we picked up where we left off, kind of thing. So it's just good, you know, to obviously, you know, me and you stay in touch a lot. So you know, like I said, just feel free to hit me up whenever. Maybe we can talk about Arsenal in an upcoming episode. You never know.
All right, cool. I'm down, man. I made sure to include the
Yeah,
audio
no.
in the background. It's kind of hard to see, but
It's all good. It's all good. Everybody knows who that guy is.
all right. Just want to make sure, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode of Once a Nomad. Again, Alex, thank you so much for coming on. Please do not forget to like, subscribe. I will put my social medias down in the description, as well as the link to Alex's EP. And I will see you guys on the next video.